I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The prayer this evening will be offered by the good delegate from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please bow your heads. Lord, we pray for the power to be gentle, the strength to be forgiving, the patience to be understanding, and the endurance to accept the consequences of holding to what we believe to be right. May we put our trust in the power of good to overcome evil and the power of love to overcome hatred. We pray for the vision to see and the faith to believe in a world emancipated from the violence of oppression and inequity. For a new world where fear shall no longer lead us to commit injustice nor selfishness make us bring suffering to others. Help us to devote our whole life and thought and energy to the task of making peace, praying always for the inspiration and the power to fulfill the destiny for which we are all created. Amen.
Amen. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. There being 134 members present, the House is now in session. The clerk will read the journal from the previous day.
Annapolis, Maryland, February the 17th, 2023.
Recognizing the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the journal.
So ordered. Petitions, memorials, and other papers. Introduction of House bills. The clerk will read the bills and their committee assignment.
House Bill 1267, Delegate Wilkins, House Rules. House Bill 1268, Delegate Howard, House Rules. House Bill 1269, Delegate Harris, House Rules. House Bill 1270, Dorchester County Delegation, House Rules. Moderator Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
Clerk will read the bond initiatives and the committee assignment.
Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 38, referred to appropriations. Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 39, referred to appropriations.
Message from the Senate. Consent calendar number 5, Senate bills introduced in the House.
Senate Bill 44, Senator McCray, Economic Matters.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So much be considered the reading of SB 44 to be considered the reading for all the bills on the calendar.
Hearing no objections, the bills are read the first time and referred to the appropriate committee. House resolutions. Recognizing the gentleman from Prince George's County after the clerk reads the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to 100 black men of Greater Washington, D.C., in recognition of being recognized as the 100 Black Men of America Chapter of the Year. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 20th day of February 2023.
Recognizing the sponsor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I'd like to ask that you welcome a good friend of mine. This is my former chief of staff who left us to come back now as the president of 100 Black Men for Greater Washington, the #1 chapter in the country, the Collegiate 100, #1 chapter in the country, the most money raised by any chapter in the country, doing some phenomenal things, touching these children. If you look up into the balcony, you'll see 100 plus members from the 100 Black Men with the mentors from out Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and the Washington suburbs. Thank you so much.
We have a second resolution. You want me to call her or her? Okay. Recognizing the sponsor of the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, it is my honor and my privilege today to introduce you to Coach Howard of the Columbia Ravens and team captain Jaden, aka Benji Canada. And give me a second and I'm going to tell you why it's so significant that they are here and their teammates are here up in the gallery, of which my son, stand up Grayson, is a member. Okay, wait a minute. Thank you. Thank you. But what is so significant is that these young men are not one, but two-time Super Bowl Mid-Maryland Atlantic winners, but they are also 2022 state champs, okay? And I would like the team in the back to stand up and hold up those Super Bowl rings. Hold up your rings. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about Coach Howard. Coach Howard has been coaching youth for 13 years. He's been with most of this group since they were 7 years old. He has built a culture that instills dedication, discipline, and sacrifice to achieve their academic. They always put academics first and talk about student athletes. So he helps them to achieve their academic and their athletic goals. He always says football is just a bridge in order to engage with today's youth to show other avenues of life than the world may say you are. Now let me tell you a little bit about team captain Jaden Canada right there. Hold up your Super Bowl ring, Jaden. Jaden is a passionate young leader who is a demonstration of hard work. He is confident and decisive on the football field. His mental toughness, pocket presence, and athleticism sets him apart. You can count on him to be front and center and focused on being the best. A teammate that always lends his hand to help. Fun, loving, life of the party, and always ready to have a good time. I know you've done it twice, but these are some hard-working young men. They're already working, to come for your county at the next state champs. So please stand up again and give these young men a big round of applause. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to the Columbia Ravens 2022 10U football team in recognition of your perseverance, dedication, discipline, and sacrifice in maintaining excellence in academics while winning the league championship and state championship. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 20th day of February 2023.
We have a third resolution, recognizing General Lady from Prince George's.
Good evening, Madam Speaker, members of the House, colleagues. It is a very special day for me today. It is an honor and privilege to welcome the lovely ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, my sorority sisters up in the balcony. On November 12, 1922, when the Klan was running rampant in Indiana, 7 brave black women organized a sorority dedicated to service, sisterhood, and scholarship. We dedicate ourselves to greater service and greater progress. It is a privilege to have been sponsored into this organization by permission to use the former delegate's name.
Permission granted.
Thank you. Our current state's attorney and former delegate, Aisha Braveboy, introduced me to this wonderful organization. She's joined by the head of our notable Northeast region, along with the bacillus or president of the Annapolis chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho. We have members from all over the state of Maryland represented here today, so please join me in welcoming my sisters to the floor. Thank you.
Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated in recognition of 100 years of exemplary service, leadership, sisterhood to the state of Maryland, the United States, and global communities. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 20th day of February 2023.
Message from the Chief Executive, executive nominations. The clerk will read the message and the committee assignment.
February 18, 2023. Dear Speaker Jones, in accordance with Article 2, Section 13 of the Constitution of Maryland, I am pleased to submit the following appointment nominations for confirmation by the Maryland House of Delegates. These individuals bring exceptional knowledge and ability to the offices for which they have been nominated. I am confident they will provide the strength of experience and leadership to install confidence among our citizens and ensure we succeed in our goals for Marylanders. I look forward to your favorable approval of these nominees. Thank you for your assistance and support. Sincerely, Westmore Governor. Referred to Rules and Executive Nominations.
Message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, we propose with your concurrence a joint session of the General Assembly at 10:30 a.m. on February 21st, 2023 for the election and qualifying of the Treasurer of the State of Maryland by joint ballot in accordance with Article 6, Section 1 and 5 of the Constitution. We have appointed Delegates Harrison and Grice to escort your honorable body to the House chamber for this joint session. We further propose a joint committee of 4, 2 on the part of the House and 2 on the part of the Senate, to escort the Treasurer-elect. We have appointed on the part of the House Delegates Atterbury and Tolles. We propose a joint committee of 4, 2 on the part of the House and 2 on the part of the Senate, to escort the Lieutenant Governor to the House chamber. We have appointed on the part of the House Delegates Munoz and Vogel. We further propose the appointment of a joint committee of 4, 2 on the part of the House and 2 on the part of the Senate, to escort the Governor to the House chamber. We have appointed Delegates Grossman and Heinball. By order, Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Message from the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, we have received your message proposing a joint session of the General Assembly in the House chamber at 10:30 a.m. on February 21st, 2023 for the purpose of the election and qualifying of the Treasurer of the State of Maryland by joint ballot in accordance with Article 6, Sections 1 and 5 of the Constitution. We respectfully concur in your message and have appointed on behalf of the Senate Senators Augustine and Salling as members of the Joint Committee to escort the Treasurer-elect. We have also appointed as members of the Joint Committee Senators Hayes and Reedy to escort the Lieutenant Governor to the House chamber. We have further appointed Senators King and Hershey's as member of the Joint Committee to escort the governor to the chamber of the House of Delegates.
Hearing no objection, the message is ordered, journalized. Today is Washington Day, and as been our custom, the Washington Day address will be offered by a good delegate from Howard County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, colleagues, distinguished guests. Good evening. It is an honor and a privilege to offer this Washington Day address. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity, and thank you, colleagues, for your indulgence. It was truly an awe-inspiring task setting out to write a speech about George Washington, knowing I would be delivering it just steps away from where Washington himself stood almost 240 years ago in what is considered one of the greatest acts of statesmanship in our country's history, resigning his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Washington's legacy is complicated. He is a national hero who was not only complicit in our nation's original sin, but actively participated in it as an enslaver. He believed white women belonged to their fathers or their husbands, and as much as he espoused values of freedom, liberty, and equality, we know that his vision of our new democracy only extended to white men with property. If Washington were standing here before this distinguished body, he would think that a majority of us don't belong here. Remembering Washington calls us to task, both to preserve and protect the structures of government that he helped design, and to dismantle and correct the systems of oppression that he helped perpetuate. The more I thought about the Washington Day address and worked on preparing these remarks, it turned out this speech isn't really about George Washington at all. No, my friends, instead, this Washington Day address is about us. It's about the lessons we draw from the legacy of a flawed hero, the virtues which we choose to honor and emulate, and the failings which we commit ourselves to repair and rise above. Now, with enough analysis and reflection, we can draw lessons from any aspect of Washington's life or career. But perhaps the clearest lessons are those he imparted directly to the American people in his farewell address. Washington's farewell address is widely recognized as one of the most significant presidential addresses in our history. With this open letter addressed to friends and fellow citizens, Washington not only set the standard for a two-term limit, but also issued warnings and advice to the American people about the future of our young country. In his own words, "A solicitude for your welfare which cannot end but with my life, and the apprehension of danger natural to that solicitude, urge me on an occasion like the present to offer to your solemn contemplation and to recommend to your frequent review some sentiments which are the result of much reflection, of no inconsiderable observation, and which appear to me all important to the permanency of your felicity as a people." One of Washington's key admonitions was to guard against the dangers of establishing political parties, what he referred to as the baneful effects of the spirit of party. We all know how that turned out. It's one thing to say, well, that ship has sailed. Political parties are clearly here to stay. But I don't think it's that simple. Washington's warnings against political parties still hold important meaning when we think about how we operate as political parties and how we operate as individual members of our respective parties. We in the General Assembly take pride in the fact that our legislature is not subject to the same stifling partisanship we see in Congress, and rightly so, I would say. But it's important to recognize that there is nothing inherent in our structure to guarantee this. The fact that we have been able to prevent severe partisanship from dominating our operation is the result of a consistent and concerted effort on the part of our Speaker, the Senate President, working together with majority and minority leadership. As much as those of us in the general membership of the body should appreciate our leadership's steadfast commitment to limiting the impact of partisanship, we must also acknowledge our collective responsibility to support and share in those efforts, both for the good of this body and for the greater good of Maryland. Each of us brings to our work as a legislator our own unique perspective, our own lens shaped by layers of cultural influence, family upbringing, educational and professional background, community engagement, political ideology, and lived experience. The vast range of unique perspectives assembled within this body is one of the greatest strengths of a citizen legislature. It also means the simple act of getting to know each other is one of the greatest resources available to us as legislators. If we mistakenly boil our differences down to party affiliation, we will miss the extensive benefits of understanding different viewpoints and the untold potential of allowing our colleagues' perspectives to strengthen our own. I think about my friend, the minority leader. He doesn't always love the bills I put forward, but he's willing to take the time to discuss them with me. He trusts that they come from a place of good intentions, and he's forthright in sharing his concerns. We've taken the time to discuss the impact we hope to have, the goals we hope to achieve, and the challenges we hope to overcome for communities within our own districts and across Maryland. Though we often disagree on policy approaches, our vision for Maryland and our hopes and wishes for our constituents are strikingly similar. And even within our disagreements, there is opportunity to learn and grow. And perhaps most importantly, within those disagreements, there is the opportunity to make better policy. When we take the time to discuss and understand each other's concerns and perspectives, our bills get better. Maybe not every time, but quite often. Even if we don't end up coming to agreement, exploring the disagreement can help inform a better solution. And I'm not talking about split the difference compromise. There's a time and a place for that. But the real value of understanding our different perspectives is in finding new approach, grow the pie, win-win solutions. The kinds of ideas we wouldn't come to on our own, or if we were talking only to people who agree with us. The kinds of solutions that only grow out of being pushed and challenged to look at things differently. We each have 140 amazing resources sitting with us in this chamber, each with a unique perspective that can help us better understand the challenges we face and better envision the solutions we can create. If we want to do our best work on behalf of the people of Maryland, we must recognize that the best antidote to partisanship is relationship. There are 49 days left in this legislative session, 35 if we exclude weekends. Now, counting breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's 105 opportunities to break bread with a colleague you may have not gotten to know yet. I encourage you to make the most of those opportunities. Our relationships as colleagues are a powerful, positive way to heed Washington's warning against partisanship. As his words still echo in this building, let this be the spirit that endures. After all, it is not only Washington's legacy, it is ours too. Thank you.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to journalize the comments of the delegate from Howard County.
So ordered. That ends the work at the desk. The delegation announcements. Seeing none. And the caucus announcements. Yes.
Apologies, Madam Speaker.
Which delegation
Prince
announcement?
George's County delegation
Okay,
announcement.
okay.
Tomorrow morning, just an FYI, right after Democratic caucus, we will be having our pictures. So please stick around in the Prince George's delegation room right after caucus. Thank you so much.
Any other delegation announcements? What do we got? See what? Yeah, Democratic caucus. You sat down. So
I
didn't
know,
whether-
yeah, I did, because I'm sorry. Thank you, Madam Speaker. As my wonderful Vice Chair earlier noted, the House Democratic Caucus will be meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning in the Prince George's County Delegation Room. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Republican caucus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Republican caucus will be meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in room 145.
Are there any personal or guest announcements? Recognizing gentleman from Baltimore City.
Madam Speaker, I rise to speak in honor and in memory of Carolyn Fugit, whom we buried today. One of her first jobs was at Hutzler's, where she could sell clothes, but she could not put them on. That was the case at Hutzler's, at Hochul's, and at Hecht's for black women and men at that time until the Civil Rights Acts. She later worked at the post office because that was one of the few places, even in the federal government, where a woman of color could work. She had 6 children, and as was pointed out at the funeral today, all 6 of them earned 2 college degrees. You might know the names of 2 of them. One, her oldest child, firstborn, was Reginald Lewis. It's in the Reginald Lewis Museum, is named in his honor, in his memory. Reginald went to Dunbar, was captain of the football team, vice president of the student council, and the president of the student council was at the funeral today, Chief Judge Robert Bell. Carolyn's second son was Gene Fugit. You might know him as a tight end for the Cowboys and what's now the Commanders, the Washington team. I know Gene as a classmate at college and as someone who, when his parents drove from Mosier Street in West Baltimore to our house in Northwest Baltimore on Park Heights Avenue on our way to college, my parents would invite his parents into the house as we left. And that is something that did not happen often in Baltimore in 1968 through 72 when they did that. So in memory of Carolyn, our highest regards and best wishes. Thank you.
Any personal or guest announcements? Recognizing the gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Got a handful of people here this evening. In the forward gallery, we have people from Catonsville, Katie and Rose Malone, visiting us tonight. Back here, oh yeah, let's do that first. Katie used to work for a congressman. Now she works for a delegate here somewhere. Back behind me, I have my daughter Rebecca and my granddaughter Natalie, who've come to spend the evening with us tonight. Real pleasure to have them. And then, of course, if he'll stand up with Tristan, we have former delegate Pat Young hanging out with us this evening.
We won't hold it against him. Recognizing the majority whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the former delegate from Baltimore County is missing his outfit tonight. Permission to use the delegate's name, Madam Speaker?
Permission granted.
So colleagues, I want you guys to join me in sending a strong congrats and warm hugs and feels to our colleague, Delegate Vaughn Stewart, on the birth of their second child, Oscar George Stewart, yesterday at 1:34 p.m. Yeah. He's not here because he's smart and with his wife. But
As
please
he
send him a
should
text.
be.
As he should be. Thank you.
Okay. Gentlelady from Prince George's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, please join me in welcoming my family, my aunt, 88 years young, Dorothy Beverly. This is her very first time in the State House, and my parents, Al and Marion Beverly. And you will notice that my dad, Al Beverly, is donning his local 602 steam fitter's jacket because he was the very first black steam fitter in the local 602. So please help me in joining and welcoming my family.
Recognizing the gentleman from Southern Maryland.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to use delegates' names.
Permission granted.
I rise tonight actually as a favor to the Speaker because Chair Atterbury refused to stand and continue to speak on behalf of this delegate. Today is a very special day. One of our colleagues gets a year older. I know it's hard to believe because of the amount of hair dye he uses. Many of you have seen him mentoring me, although from a distance it often looks like he is yelling. And while his initial and secondary reactions are usually intense, once absorbed, he is very kind, compassionate, thoughtful, and principled. And frankly, his story is as remarkable as anybody who has ever served in this chamber, from his hurdles that he overcame as a child to a special forces officer to an ambulance chaser, trial lawyer, to the first African American to hold state office in Charles County, and is now an absolute savage on the floor. Please join me in wishing Maryland's own Prince of Pot and the self-proclaimed more kinder and gentler Chair of Economic Matters, Chair Wilson, a happy birthday.
Any other personal? Gentleman from Frederick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, many of you served with former Delegate Rick Weldon. He had planned to take a long weekend in Ocean City this past weekend, but he ended up spending it in Atlantic General Hospital. He was in the ICU. We hear that he's better, but I know that he would appreciate a text or a Facebook message from any of you who served with him.
I don't know who got up first. Okay, all these people from Anne Arundel.
Rick Weldon. Rick
Hopefully
Weldon.
not the same guest. In the back. Gentlelady in the back.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For 5 years, I've felt like an adopted member of my sister district, 32. Last year, I had the pleasure of serving as vice chair to this good delegate from 32 who served as chair of our delegation. He seems to be everywhere all the time. He works relentlessly to help our communities, especially our veterans and his fellow freshmen, now freshmen no more. And he sets a very high bar when it comes to our meetings because he operates with military precision. Permission to use the delegates' names.
Permission granted.
On behalf of myself, Vice Chair Jones, and the entire Anne Arundel County delegation, we ask you to help us celebrate our friend, our partner, and Mr. Current Situation in wishing a very happy birthday to Delegate Mike Rogers.
The gentleman from Anne Arundel, that's closest to me.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to use delegates' names.
Permission granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of Delegate Chisholm, Delegate Munoz, and I, there are three lovely young ladies in the balcony behind me, Anna, Flora, and Fiona, who are here with a delegation of 4-H. Over 100 4-H kids were here today and watching Democracy in Action. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Another gentleman from Ann
Thank you,
Arbor.
Madam Speaker. Colleagues, join me in welcoming Sharon Moselle, her sons Clint and Rhett. They're also down here watching Democracy in Action. Give a big warm welcome to these folks. They're up there in the gallery behind me.
Gentleman from Montgomery.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We'll change it up a little bit. I would ask for you to join me in giving a warm welcome to the members of the Montgomery County Young Democrats who joined us this evening. Let's.
Are they?
There we go.
Gentleman from Ann Arbor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to acknowledge two very important people in my life, representing District 12B. As you know, as a single-parent dad, every day I come here trying to do the work of the people of my district, but also trying to be a positive role model to my children, my two children that I love and I adore, and the reason why I'm here, trying to make things right for our county and our state. So I just want to recognize two special people. My daughter, Sanaya Simmons, who's 15 years old at North County High School. She's an AP student looking to go to North Carolina A&T for electrical engineering. She also is on the basketball team, the track team, and the volleyball team at North County. And she also leads their mental health group with the high school to make sure that we're focusing on mental health for high school students. She's the love of my life. She's my firstborn child. And she also functioned as my cook. Next to her is my son, who's taller than me. So next to her is my son, Quentin, who's probably about 5'9" at this point. So Quentin is taller than all of us. He's 12 years old at Lindale Middle School, where he's a 7th grader. Quentin liked to play football as well as basketball. They both continue to be remarkable students, remarkable children. They continue to help their dad in every way they can. They are my two chefs. I'm often leaving here, calling home, telling them what I need cooked for me. By the time I get there, since a lot of people regulate what I can eat while I'm here, you know who you are. But I just want to thank y'all. A lot of people came out to help me during the election as a battleground district. And when you think about why you did it, I point right over in that corner, and those are number 1 and 2 of why you did it and why you was out there helping me, because without them, I wouldn't be here. Without y'all, I wouldn't be here. So I have the opportunity to say thank you to all of y'all who stand here today with me in this house. I'm always in awe when I get up and listen to all of y'all speak, and when you promote things that are important to my children. That's where it starts for me. No matter what I'm dealing with, I think how it relates to my family and me as a single parent. So I just want to thank you all. I want to thank Madam Speaker and definitely for all of my colleagues for having us here today. So thank you.
Gentleman from Carroll.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I see 3 people in the gallery who haven't been introduced yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. With it being President's Day, I have a lot of family members who took the day to come down here and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them in no particular order because I have my mother-in-law, my mother, and my wife here. So they are all extremely equally important. I have my parents here, Jim and Janet Tomlinson up there. I have my in-laws, Tom and Pat Wells, over there in the corner. I have my wife, Molly, who I think just 2 days ago we celebrated a big 8 months of being married. How about that? Yeah, 8 months. And then finally, my niece and nephew, London and Berlin, who are down here spending the day. They're learning about state government in school currently, so it's a bit of a field trip. So welcome them. Thank you.
Okay. Another Carroll County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Along with the good delegates family, we had Carroll County night tonight, or effectively District 5 and District 42C night, and wanted to recognize on both sides of the gallery many of our constituents that took the time to drive down today and enjoy a wonderful evening and join us in the session this evening as well. So thank you all for coming. And
No one else has gotten up. Okay. Well, today is Monday, recognizing a protocol chair.
Come on down, you sunshines. All right. They have been with us all day, and it's past their bedtime, I can see. But it's okay. We're here. And I'm going to announce your name, and I want you to step up, and I want you to wave to the crowd. Okay? Y'all got this? Okay, here we go. First one, Ian Buckman from Cecil County, District 35, Prairieville High School. Linnell Estefan, Howard County, District 13, Reservoir High School. Sarah King, Harford County, District 7B, Falston High. Raymond Ma, Montgomery County, ALT, District 15, Winston Churchill High School. Savannah Parker, Washington County, District 2A, Smithborough High School. Hill Row, Montgomery County, District 16, Richard Montgomery High School. Julia Stanley, Anne Arundel County, District 23, Archbishop Spalding High School. Christian Von Herwick, Montgomery County, ALT, District 18, Herbert Einstein High School. Okay, you wonderful sunshines. I want y'all to have fun this week. Go visit your delegates and enjoy yourself until Friday, and you have a good night. Thank you.
Quorum called before adjournment.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? Clerk will take the call. There being 134 members present, the House is still in session, recognizing a majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stands adjourned until Tuesday, February 21st at 10 a.m.